To the show. I should really think of some sort of cynically repetitive phrase to start the show with so people can get into it.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. This is the first
Hey
for the show.
everybody.
Hey everybody. We've got a first for the show. We've got a special guest. It's David.
Hi.
Hello, David.
Hi.
How's it going?
Fine. It's Saturday.
It is Saturday. We're podcasting again. We're back on the wagon. You might hear the sound of us drinking brew, but that will happen.
That will happen.
I feel a wee
There's no
bit.
way to do it.
There's no other way. I feel a wee bit sad because you're not like
I
watching.
know. So
So there's not a wee one in.
Oh no.
Yeah, no one's gonna like chat through
Well,
unless people in the group saw it.
Hopefully people see it.
Yeah, I did post on Twitter before this. So,
Yeah. You never know.
I'm gonna entice all the Transformers people in with non-Transformers content.
That's a good shout.
That's what we're gonna do. But do you like our setup here? Our cracked iPhone 4 somehow streaming
It's great.
without video.
When I was watching it last night, or listening,
It is a
the
podcast.
audio quality was surprisingly good.
It's because it's focusing on just the audio. That's what I tell myself.
Considering it's a cracked iPhone.
It's a cracked. Although, like, I don't feel that bad because it went years and years and years without getting cracked, and then I dropped it from about an inch in the air, and it shattered.
That's a good way.
It's survived falls from like hip height.
Yeah.
Like I've missed my pocket on many an occasion, and
It's
just
a weird
bounced.
science. Sometimes it just needs the right angle. And then
Do
that's
you not
it.
think they pressed the button and it just like broke the screen? You know how like they make iPhones worse.
Yeah,
Do you think they did that, but physically somehow?
probably. They've got like some mystical power.
Some sort of demonic devil in there that just like cracks it a little bit.
Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence. This is how they do it. This is how they get you. I'm definitely not buying one of those new iPhones though.
You know.
No.
Am
I mean, it's how much money? How many dollary dues?
1,000.
1,000.
Starting at £999.
Oh, 999. That's not bad. That's still in the three digits. Like that's.
And you want to know the worst part?
What's the worst
They
part?
take the dollar price, right?
Mm-hmm.
$999, and then they convert it straight into pounds.
That yeah.
999 to 999, which is obscene.
That
and
is obscene.
admittedly, it won't like that. The 999 includes the sales tax here. It doesn't in America.
That sales tax just
But it
bothers me
doesn't-
in general. But here's a question: is it better or worse since the other day when Theresa May demanded respect and the pound tanked? Does that make it better? I'm not an economist. I'm not a smart man. Is it a better situation to buy that phone now, given that they're just straight converting the pounds?
Given that the pound has fallen against the dollar, but they're not going to change the price of the iPhone now.
Yeah. So
Like theoretically, it's not. It doesn't make any difference to you.
no.
It just means
If I was a power seller of iPhones on eBay,
well,
for
the problem,
instance-
it's not like a micro problem. Like it doesn't affect like the iPhone because they're not going to change the price of that.
no.
But what might happen is like as the pound lowers, the more people will put up the price. So the next iPhone's more expensive. That's how they calculate inflation. Because
So the next iPhone that I also won't buy will be more expensive.
possibly
I mean-
unless they put the price down because the tech.
But like by that point, we will have entered Bean Wars territory post Brexit.
Brexit will have. This is the last.
This is the last iPhone. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm
For
hoping
us.
since they come from China, it won't affect.
well, you know how like in Mad Max, it kind of appears like just Australia has fallen to nuclear war and the rest of the world is fine.
Like, I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure because iPhones come from China, they're like liable for American tariffs. I could be wrong. I don't think it matters that it's an American company.
You might want to continually lean in because that's what I did
Yeah,
yesterday.
that's probably a good point.
I don't have you on the other end to tell me that the audio is terrible. Like, we're flying blind here.
We are.
Even though this is better because the two of us are in the same room and I don't have to read your things and be like, oh, PlayStation Classic. I don't know, what's a PlayStation Classic? You blew my mind with that yesterday, by the way.
I did.
Like, if you were listening, other guy, because there was another guy. There was a moment when two people were in chat.
There was.
So, other guy, if you were listening, my mind was entirely blown when you told me that they were stealing Nintendo's idea that Nintendo very low key stole from Sega.
Well, this
after
has become a bit
millions
of a meme about like Nintendo, like Sony stealing the idea.
years.
But Sega have done the same thing for
Yeah,
years.
I had a
Specifically, the one thing that annoyed people was that they had exactly the same promo shot of like someone's hand holding the thing. Like that's just like marketing 101.
Yeah.
That if you make a thing small, then you show the fact that
it
you can
shows
show, like
it shows it's small and
it's
that
not like some mascot like. It's been done before. Like I admit, Nintendo did it very well, but like also just like it's
not
clearly copying, but it's not like a bad thing.
it's not like Sony's the market leader in like this field. It's not like it's shook and it's like, oh, Nintendo shipped like
I know.
300 of those like
Like-
NES classics last year. We better get in on that, lads. They're just like, oh yeah, retro gaming. Well, we already kind of do that on our main
Well,
system
yeah,
anyway, but we could ship
their
some
business
plastic.
their business doesn't hinge on the existence of PlayStation Classics.
No.
It'll just be it's a nice little bonus.
That'll
for
be a
us
wee
at
bonus,
Christmas.
you know, get some more games of golfing because of
Given
this.
that they sold like 3.3 million copies of Spider-Man in like a week.
Yeah,
I
was
think
it
they're-
3.3 million,
I
was
think
it?
they're fine. And when you extrapolate all of them, that's like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So,
And that's in a week.
yeah.
And it's life in, like, I don't know, it's been doing quite well. Like, Spider-Man hasn't really dropped off my feed at all.
No, it's like, it seems like it
Did
might.
they put out another, because you know how they've got that camera feature where you can take selfies of Spider-Man. Did they put out like a theme where it was like 60s cartoon Spider-Man or
I
like
think they might have done.
manga, I was saying manga Spider-Man, but like cartoon comic book Spider-Man where it looks cel-shaded and stuff.
Probably.
Because there was a wee bit of a lull where I wasn't seeing as much Spider-Man stuff.
Maybe
and
it's
then
just
that
people.
happened.
Maybe it's just people completed it and they unlocked.
Aye.
I'm talking about Blind here because I don't have the game yet. I'm sorry
Remember-
to say that.
Remember when you were going to buy the game and then you didn't buy the game
I was
because you bought
considering-
Dragon Age instead?
I did. I was considering buying the game today, but I'm going to wait until I get paid. So
I paid you this coming
next week.
so it
I
seems
get
about right.
paid on Tuesday.
I also get paid on Tuesday. I don't know if that's information that people could take and
Yeah, I
hack
said
into
that.
our
Like
banks.
these are the things that
You keep that into yourself, you know.
I
I don't get paid on Tuesday.
No, not
Not
at all.
No. Weird assassins that are listening into these podcasts to like take our bank account details that will probably splurge over the course.
It's a rookie error. I'll
Yeah,
not make it again.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't need Spider-Man right now.
No.
I don't feel like, see, when you're young and like you go to school and somebody has the new
Game,
GTA
yeah.
and you're like, oh my god, I wasn't thinking about that, but now I need to have the new GTA.
Yeah.
Don't feel that anymore at all.
Also, like, paradoxically, I feel like gaming culture has improved the past few years for like playing old games is just fine. Like you think with the age of the internet that everyone's like hyper current and that you need to be in the now. And for a while that was the case on the internet. But I feel like Twitch and YouTube is making it so it's like socially acceptable to play like games.
That's
just whenever you
cool
want.
because
you
I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about starting a Twitch channel where I just play Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the PS1.
Like that's, I mean, do it.
I don't have
The
a
jumping
PS4
is,
anymore.
The jumping is bad.
The jumping is not bad. We've made content on this before. I feel like the first podcast we ever did, we talked about this.
I think we might have done. Oh
Was
my
that
God.
like 8 to 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Was that like the day before the New 52 launched?
I think we talked about the new 52 and that, so that would have been 2011?
2011ish, so 7 years. 7 years ago, we sat down and had.
What are the odds?
I don't. It's just podcasts. Podcasts and Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue for the PS1 just go together. They're just made for each other.
What did he even talk about if it's not
I don't
Power
know. Do you
Rangers
just like talk
Lightspeed
about
Rescue?
facts and figures and I guess Brexit, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh no.
Yeah,
We will.
we will. I've not actually followed the news today, so you can probably
I can
tell
tell
me.
you about
You can,
news.
I was like, I was testing out my phone because my Google app I think is broken because I didn't think I had the internet on it. I thought my data wasn't working, and I accidentally I went onto. It's a Windows phone, so this is probably also information I shouldn't tell people, but it's a Windows phone. So I went onto.
Now, whenever they see a Windows phone, there's like a 10% chance it's
Oh god,
you. No.
that's terrifying
Yep.
and hilarious. I went onto Internet Explorer because I was like, maybe it's just the Google app isn't working because it was like can't connect to server. And the first thing it took me to, because the first suggestion was Sky News, I was like, alright, Sky News. So I was sitting there looking at Sky News, and you know how they do that minute by minute reporting, where it's basically they just read out people's tweets.
Yep.
I was reading out. I was listening to Sky News read out tweets about Theresa May demanding respect.
She did demand respect.
That doesn't seem like a tactic that has ever worked.
Well,
Or
it hasn't worked so far.
No. And then like all the subtweets, so I don't know if that's what they're, but all the tweets under it were just like, what's this plan? I don't know.
My favourite part about it was when she said that she's been respectful of the EU throughout the entire process, and that all she's ever tried to do is command bring people with her on her plans for Brexit that have literally split the country in half and makes like everyone feel sick. Even some people who like Brexit.
People that like Brexit hate what she's doing, don't they?
Exactly. So everyone hates what she's doing except like 10 Tories.
I don't know. Who wins other than, I guess, evil land barons that are looking forward to the Mad Max Fists of the North Star future
it's
that we're barreling towards.
Let me tell you. I hope it doesn't happen.
There was it Jeremy Hunt? I love being on the radio and saying Jeremy Hunt.
You need to be.
I have to be very careful. I don't, because it's a fishy stream. Like I'm not bound by like radio rules.
I can't say it's a Freudian slip that I've ever done in the old Jeremy Hunt one. Like I feel
is it Freudian because it's what he is?
I mean,
so
yeah.
like that's only something if you don't mean it or you don't want people to know that you mean it. Like,
I wonder how much of it is newsreaders just trying to get away with it.
Simon McCoy standing with his wee pack of A4 paper for the printer, being like, see how many hunts I can get in before the break. Somebody's watching!
Oh my god!
Oh!
Hi!
Hello, person that's watching!
Join the chat!
Don't feel pressured, but please comment and tell me who you are. Because if you're a Transformers person from Twitter, we love you. And if you're one of our friends, you're already one of our friends.
It's all good.
Now we play the waiting game. I'm going to try and get above 2 people. Because it's been exponential growth.
Well, if you think about it, what you need to do is stream every day. Because, let's face it, like, how many subscribers do you have?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
I have, 25, I want to say.
So maybe the algorithm probably means, one of them will be even seeing that you're live, because that's how the algorithm works.
A lot of my followers might not be awake right now. Time zones. Although, isn't everyone awake now? Is that how it works? America will be awake now.
America will be awake, yeah.
Or Australia. I can't even say it without being
very
horrible.
much be the middle of the night in Australia.
Sorry, people in Australia, if we're waking you up somehow.
It'll be the middle of the night in a lot of the Asia Pacific region.
Oh my god! 2 people are...
It happened.
Maybe that's Amber in the next room, listening to us beg for viewers. If it is, thanks. But we were talking about Brexit and that. Oh my god, you realise there's no video. Yes, Peep Show, we realise there's no video. The iPhone is broken. No, it's me twice. Oh.
Oh no.
I mean, that cheapens it a little bit, but hey ho. Are you off today? You've been doing a lot. You phoned me. You're on, the streams. We're going to have a Chaps and Chaps party tomorrow. That's going to be great. We're, to explain, assless chaps, hell of a culture. And then combine that with chips and chaps. It's going to be a great time. You've kind of disrailed us from what we were talking about Brexit.
We were talking about Brexit.
Brexit's a-coming. It's a-coming fast and hard. Do you feel more positive about Scottish independence now? Or when you think about Scottish independence, do you just feel really sad that, Alex Salmond is a Russia Today man? Because that's my train of thought. I think about Brexit, I get really sad, and then I think I'm going to have to buy a hell of a lot of
I know it's
beans.
paradoxical, but my thoughts on Alex Salmond don't I know that seems weird because for decades that he was, but I don't conflate the two in my mind.
But there's a mad train of thought. I think about how sad it's going to be and how much the sheer amount of beans I'm going to have to buy, and then I'm thinking it's okay. I live in Scotland. This is probably one of the better places to be right now. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Alex Salmond is just out there spreading the word of Putin. Scottish independence was just a misdirect from Putin. I know that's a wee bit inflammatory to say, but when he's out there beating on Russia today, how much
there's a lot of people who share that opinion. Let me tell you, but Brexit and Scottish, and my thing is right.
Yeah.
Theoretically, Scotland should. But what Brexit's actually doing is just kicking us all into submission. People think of politics and they just want to.
Well, that's what Putin wants. He's completely invalidated Britain as a political power because all that's happening is Brexit chatter.
Yeah.
Like, we've not invaded like a Middle Eastern country in years, to my knowledge. I know that's
Done proxies,
horrific,
yeah.
but like, aye. So was there any happenings today on the Brexit? I know someone was it Jeremy Hunt was saying that don't mistake politeness for weakness.
They were. They're. I don't.
Like the country isn't Hugh Grant. Like what are you talking about? That's just meaningless patter.
That's like a Love Actually speech.
Is it?
I don't
I've
know.
not.
Like,
I've never seen in
it
Love
seems like
Actually.
the kind of plot device that film would have. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's all you just need to calm down. Blah,
Oh,
love,
oh yeah,
love
I saw
always
that.
wins.
I saw the whole like what's needed now is a keep calm and carry on culture. It's
Like, if Hugh Grant Prime Minister would like give a speech or something. I don't know.
have you seen Love Actually? Because I've never seen Love Actually.
I've seen bits of it.
I've never actually
I've
seen
never
Love
seen
Actually.
like all of it from start to finish, but I've probably seen all of it like in bits.
In bits.
And to be honest,
Martin Freeman's in that.
To be honest, I don't think it matters if you watch that film in that way because
Isn't it like
just,
a clip
it's
showy
just
kind
a
of
series
thing?
of vignettes almost. Like there's lots of stories happening, but like it's kind of I don't know.
I've never seen Love Actually, and I don't feel the need. It seems like Love Actually is that film where because they made those because it was him that made. Did he do Bridget Jones 1?
Possibly.
And like
I think
Four Weddings and that whole kind of
yeah, it's
cool
a
Britannia
Curtis, yeah.
Curtis. But that one seems like the kind of
Iraq War.
Iraq War on Terror one.
It wasn't that era. Like,
And I just like I don't want to watch that.
Love Actually is the most 2003 film of all time.
Oh, that you say that, and
Can you think of
yes, I can.
anything more 2003 than
I
Love
can,
Actually?
because if Rick from The Walking Dead in it holding signs.
There's a lot of like airport bits. Like that's kind of how they tie the plot together. 'Cause
right.
Like, oh, there's all these people here for airport who are in
Well,
love.
it's funny you should mention the most 2003 film of all time because we have another David in the chat that's with me and that will say that The Core is the most 2003 film of all time.
I have never heard of.
You've never heard of The Core? The Core is great. It's, our history teacher, Mr. Monaghan, showed us The Core on VHS. We always assumed it was a late 90s film because it's a film in which I can't remember the main actors, but the plot is that the magnetic core. Yep, we're getting a thumbs up from David. The core of the Earth is like stopping or slowing down.
The core as in CORE.
Yeah.
I think I've seen like is it like a red cover with like a kind of like yellowy lettering?
You keep talking while I go and look at my VHS collection over here.
Okay, he probably does have it on VHS.
I don't know if I have it on VHS right here.
Oh no.
Oh no, I have Ghostlight on VHS.
That's
I wonder what the copy of The Core has gotten to.
required.
But yes, yeah, I have a VHS of The Core because we need to watch The Core at some point. But the core of the Earth stops, so they have to send a crew down in like a drilling machine to set off a nuke to make the core of the Earth work again.
That doesn't seem scientifically.
But doesn't it seem
stable.
like the most 2003 thing?
It does.
I know it doesn't involve Hey Ya.
I feel like if you asked me, if you didn't tell me what year it was, and you said what year was a film where like they had to save like the core of the Earth with nukes, I would have said 1998.
98. Well, that's the thing.
Because-
We assumed it was a 90s film for a very long time, and then we looked it up because we're like, oh yeah, the most 1998, 97 film, The Core, and then we're like, no, it's actually from half a decade after that. Could actually be wrong. Maybe it's the other way around, but I can't think of who's in it because it's one of those like B films from that year where it wasn't anyone big, but it was like an all-star-ish class. They'd clearly seen Armageddon and were wanting to cash in on that Armageddon money.
Yeah.
You know how like there's hundreds of people in Armageddon, like Steve Buscemi's in there if you remember. So it's kind of like a better Armageddon because it's not made by a horrible person. And you know, there's a drilling machine. There's a hacker in it that I think about all the time because at the start of the film they need to go get a computer expert, so they go get this like 90s hacker who like thinks that he's being raided at the start. So he like wipes his like drives with this giant magnet. He just like puts a magnet on it and like brings it down the board and that like wipes everything.
That you would need a pretty big magnet, but that might work.
That might work. It's like a giant Scooby-Doo magnet.
Yeah.
He's also like well into Xena in that film, and I think about this all the time for some reason.
That's
And
great. Like that would be in like the casting sheet. Like he's really.
Aaron
into Xena.
Eckhart and Hilary Swank are in it.
Christ. What? I haven't heard the name Hilary Swank in a decade.
Didn't Hilary Swank come back?
Possibly.
I feel like there was some content with Hilary Swank in it.
I
don't actually know
heard
who
Aaron
Hilary Swank is.
Eckhart in like a decade because
Didn't he get his face blown off
Exactly,
in the Dark Knight, and then
But this is my exact point. That film is a decade old.
it feels it as well.
It kind of does,
Like-
which is horrifying in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we live in a world where The Dark Knight is a decade old, and that's
so
fine.
long.
Like,
It's so long, and like I like it still, but have you seen the new Joker stuff?
I've not seen anything of the Jared Leto Joker.
No, it's not Jared Leto. It's I don't know, David on the other line, actor mate. Who's the new
Line
Joker?
two.
Is it Walking Phoenix? Walking.
Joaquin
Is he
Phoenix.
alive? Is he the actor that died? I always get confused over that. It's some guy, and it's this new Joker film that isn't connected to the DC universe, because that's a whole kettle of fish as well. But apparently they're going ahead.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin
Phoenix.
Joaquin.
Yeah, there was like some footage of him the other day, and it's just him being a normal guy.
So wait, is this like a theatrical release?
It's a theatrical release.
Who's making it?
Some guy? I feel
Warner?
like, yeah, Warner, and it's...
Why isn't it in the universe though? The hero.
Well, no, the universe has collapsed. Like,
yeah.
At Comic-Con, they announced that the DC universe is now the DC, like, worlds of DC. So, wisely, they've just given up trying to connect them. And they're just going to go forward with what's
I think
successful.
that's a better choice.
It is. And also, you can lean into that and do, like, multi-world stuff.
Actually, that kind of works. Like, I mean, it actually kind of makes sense where you can just say, "Oh yeah, this film."
Robert De Niro's in it, apparently.
There's actually something good about just being able to say on the fly, like, this is a shared universe film. This isn't, because it probably allows for more creative. Not that DC has shown any creative.
Well,
juices or
Wonder Woman was.
Wonder Woman was that. And it's because it barely connected. Like, there was that bit, like, Batman was in it.
Was Batman in it at the start? Yeah, he gave her the photo of Chris Pine and team.
Yeah, very briefly at the start and the end.
I thought that film was fine. I'm a big fan of Professor Lupin and his mustache in that film. A lot of people get angry. They're like, "Oh yeah, Wonder Woman was really good," but then that third act with what was that all about? That CGI fight and the mustache. And I was like, "Oh, that was great. That was one of my favorite bits of that film." That and like the trench scene where she like does the Wonder Woman bracelets.
That's the trench scene. That was the film.
That was the film. Have you seen the stuff about Wonder Woman 2?
It's set in the 80s.
It's set in the 80s.
Chris Pine is back.
Chris Pine is just back.
Alive and
like,
well.
There's a million ways they can do it. There's like comics and stuff. But the fact that we're like, we might have killed Chris Pine off too early. He's not got Star Trek to fall back on anymore.
No.
Maybe we should like kick him some money.
All he's got is Robert the Bruce.
And a fantastic penis, apparently. Did you see that tweet? It was like, Chris Pine's penis wows cans. Or it wasn't can. It was whatever. Burt Cullen plays Congressman in The Dark Knight Rises, playing Thomas Wayne. Congressman.
That's a great career boost.
You know who would have been a better choice from The Dark Knight to play Bruce Wayne's dad? Eric Roberts. We were watching a video about lawyers watching The Dark Knight the other night, or watching lawyer films and like commenting on them, and they just showed a court scene from The Dark Knight, and you know how like Eric Roberts is like anyone.
Yeah.
You know how he's just like in that, he's Falcone or something?
Yeah.
He gets his legs broken by Batman?
He gets his leg broken.
Everything Eric Roberts does is incredible. I think he's massively on drugs. Like,
almost definitely.
I looked at his Wikipedia page once, and he did like 250 films in 1 year,
Jesus.
or something. He was in.
That's because he just turns up for a day and does all of his scenes. Like that's a good way to make a living. Like you get all the money, but none of the like.
He's probably
pressure and none of the Oscars.
None of the Oscars.
Has he ever won an Oscar?
He's done so much work. Like, that something must have gone.
This is the thing. Like, I feel like I've said many times, like, this actor has never won an Oscar, and they have.
Well, Nicolas Cage has a house full of Oscars, doesn't he? Like, he does good critically acclaimed work.
Yep.
And he's also Nicolas Cage. I think the problem with Eric Roberts is he's just Eric Roberts.
I feel like it's not that hard to get an Oscar.
I mean, we say that sitting here with no acting experience.
I feel like you just have to be in enough films and it'll happen.
Well, maybe Eric Roberts is the argument against that. You know? If Eric Roberts doesn't have...
That's a good point.
If Eric Roberts doesn't have an Oscar right now and does do 250 films a year...
That's a good point. Maybe he just needs to like find better opportunities.
I feel he's in good stuff though. He's just also in the worst stuff. No, I had a point about Eric Roberts, and I think I lost it somewhere.
Did you hear about, while we're talking about the Oscars,
Mm.
did you hear about how they were going to have like the
A
popular
popular,
film
yeah.
category, but apparently it's not happening, or at least it's not happening for next
Not
year.
popular
Even though
enough.
they announced that, yeah, the popular film category is not popular enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
That-
people were very
see,
annoyed
I
because it
don't
means
know.
Black Panther, because
Black
people are
Panther will
saying-
win Oscars, it just won't win Film of the Year Oscar.
Yeah, it'll win, like...
It'll win in cinematography or whatever.
I don't
Maybe
know,
not
it
even
won't
that,
win
but,
on-
but you know, the
yeah.
technical ones and maybe acting. Everybody likes Michael
Well, that's
B.
the thing, I'm
Jordan.
not sure. I don't think any, like, Marvel films, like, aren't that great, technically.
They're not technically that great, technically. I don't know. I get very defensive when we talk about Marvel films because I like the look of them. And you know how, like, when you always say, like, Marvel films are very grey or very, like...
There was one Marvel film that
un-
looked really good. What was it?
Ragnarok. Ragnarok
Ragnarok did look
amazing.
pretty good, yeah.
I don't know.
That was the one.
Don't know if Ragnarok got any Oscars because I don't actually follow the Oscars. But
Don't believe it did.
There's been other Marvel films that look pretty good. I can't name them off the top of my head. I can't like continue speaking.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange looked, yeah.
That looked fantastic.
Yeah. They're doing more like that though. They're getting there. They also seem very attached to having like a very terrible 80s car chase in every film.
Yeah. Also,
Suicide Squad got an Oscar. Away you go.
It did. I forget, what is it? Best
Makeup?
I believe it was
It was
makeup.
best makeup in the year when like, was there a Del Toro film out or something? It was like
such a
2016.
weird- yeah.
So there was something out that had incredible makeup, and they were like, that Harley Quinn cosplay, that really deserves it. And oh, that Jared Leto, he really wore white face.
The
that film.
technical categories are an absolute crapshoot. Like, I don't know how they...
I feel like Suicide Squad doesn't advertise the fact that it won an Oscar on its box. Like, you know, with its like vape fluid font. Like, I don't feel like that's what it's going for. You
The
know?
Oscar-winning Suicide
Oscar-winning,
Squad.
yeah. I mean, I think there's a time and a place for like we won like a technical Oscar, so we're gonna put it front and center. There's two people again. Is that you again, David? Are you just trying to boost our ratings with multiple fake YouTube channels? Because that's amazing.
I feel like they don't even show the technical Oscars like on the
Is it a different
on the
night?
show. No, they do. It's on the same night.
Mm.
I just feel like they don't like they don't show it on like the actual.
No, it's me, Andy Roo. Who's Andy Roo? Is it Andy? Do I?
Andy.
Andy Roo.
There's a lot of Andys. I don't want to say any of them.
I know, like, I know multiple Andys. Let me know who it is, Andy. If I know you. Sorry, you don't have a username that I recognise. I don't actually follow many people on YouTube, so I don't ken any people's call signs. There's two people. This is amazing.
Congratulations.
I feel honoured.
Yeah,
I feel loved. We should probably keep talking about Brexit and DC films.
that's get results.
I'm sorry, Andy Roo.
Get results.
Andy Roo 24601. I love you. I'm afraid to say which Andys they are in case they're not the same Andy.
So here's a question: like, see having no fact. See the Oscar voters, right?
Mhm.
Do they all get to vote, or like see the technical categories? Is it only like technical voters who get to vote on that?
Oscar voters are like a different breed of people, aren't they? They just
Yeah.
keep them in like special cities and
Well,
special boats offshore and then like.
rich neighborhoods, perhaps.
Mm,
They're
mm.
wildly unrepresentative.
Yeah, I've never actually thought about how the Oscars decide. Like, I just assume that they get like Mark Commode and other film critics into a room.
I mean, Mark Kermode's probably a voter on like the British Film Academy, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably. He's like the one film critic.
There's others, but yeah.
Name them. Name the other film critics in Britain.
Jonathan Ross.
Jonathan Ross. there was a great
Claudia Winkle.
Is Claudia? No.
She still presents
Does
film
she?
20.
I don't think she does. I feel like I watched.
I feel like the last time I saw it, it was filmed with Claudia Winkle.
Was it filmed
totally
2014 with Claudia? Like, because I've not watched it since like.
It's entirely possible. It's solely felt like just
I don't
produced by an algorithm.
Does
at this
Mark
point.
Commode even do the film review anymore? I follow him on Twitter and stuff.
I'm
but-
pretty sure. I think Does Mark Kermode host it now? Maybe.
Well,
I feel like
because
I think
Essler, his double writer, is like
You know what we can do with this?
what?
Segue. We
Mhm.
can go into film and Brexit
Film
in
and
the
Bre-
same conversation with Gavin Essler.
Yeah,
The
Gavin
man
Essler.
gives you good work.
Gavin Essler, ex BBC reporter Gavin Essler, Scotchman. I assume he's Scotch. I assume everyone's
Yeah.
Scotch because I'm horrible at like
I think
detecting
I think he's
accents.
Scottish, but he's like been in England forever.
He wears a nice leather jacket. I know that of him. I've seen him like walking out. He was in Stirling one day, and I regret not going and hugging him. Like, what a man. I mainly like Gavin Essler because he's just there with Mark Commode, being like, "Oh, so films. I quite like
but
that."
now he's quite.
Like the format of those shows was like they'd play a clip from a film, and like Mark Commode would like sit there stony faced off camera. You wouldn't see his response, and then it'd come back, and Gavin Essler would be like, "I quite like that. I chuckled all the way through that. I had a good time." Like,
And then Mark
the B
Commode
movie that seemed
confirmed
great. And then like Mark Commode's like,
No.
"No."
But yeah, Gavin Essler has quit the BBC to be anti-Brexit.
That seems like a good career choice.
Yeah, like
and
he's
life move.
vociferously against it.
As
Fair play to the man.
I didn't know that because I've not been watching TV for years, but I was on Twitter one day and I saw Mark Commode be very, very sassy about Brexit to the point I was like, a BBC reporter can't say that. he's expressing an opinion. He's clearly got a bias here. Like, what is going on? And then I was talking to you about it, and you're like, like Gavin Essler's not there anymore. And I was like, what? It's great that he's out there. I don't know what he's been up to recently. I don't know if he's got like another platform other than just tweeting.
So this is what's because like okay, so Andrew Neil.
Yeah, I've not checked in with Andrew Neil in a couple months.
Like to be fair to Andrew Neil, in all of his BBC activities, he is pretty fair. Like he's
fair to.
You can tell he's right wing on his TV, but
I like Andrew Neil, but I probably shouldn't.
His interviews are fair.
He's fair, but also very like you can tell that he's right wing, but also he just craps on right wing people on the TV because they say something, and he's like, "What?
Yeah.
No, I've read this, or one of my like underlings has read this, and clearly this isn't what you said."
You can tell he's right wing, but he still calls the lies.
Maybe that's how they get you know.
But Andrew Neil's Twitter account, which he is on the BBC. Like they probably put his Twitter handle on because they do that. He does his Twitter presence is in the guise of him as like the chairman of the Spectator, which is a shit rag of utter right wing lunacy.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
So he's mad pro the Brexit on the Twitter.
Yeah, is he now? Is anyone mad pro the Brexit right at this moment in time? Even those people.
He's probably of the opinion. So we just need the EU are being too intransigent.
Intransigent.
Longest word of the podcast. So
Intransigent. I don't know how many points you'll get for that in Scrabble, but
probably quite a lot.
Put it on a multiple word thing, and you're laughing. You just don't play for the rest of the game. I had points about Wonder Woman. It's in the 80s. You know how like Marvel's competitor film. I suppose we shouldn't line them up as competitors, but when you sit them next to each other, Marvel's first female superhero film is set in the 90s.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
You've not seen the trailer of Miss Marvel? It looked like a Marvel film. That was my point. Because in the trailer, they had scenes of superhero shenanigans, and also seriously, Andy, which Andy are you? Let us know, because I'm concerned now. You did a sad face, and I'm worried for you. But in the trailer, they had a scene that was clearly like a car chase going down a road. Do you know how like every Marvel film has like a terrible like. You saw Ant-Man and the Wasp with us, didn't you?
I didn't.
No, you didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No, I haven't seen it.
There was a scene in that film. It was quite well done, and it was one of the what do you face? What's that thing where it's like a set piece? It was a set piece scene where Ant-Man and the Wasp had a car chase where they did size change and shenanigans, and it was really only fun because they did size change and shenanigans. But if you think about it, a lot of Marvel films have this like dumb 80s car chase, like a Knight Rider car chase where they're going through a city. And do you remember The Winter Soldier, where Samuel Jackson's chased by the Winter Soldier through town, and he has this ridiculous like Humvee?
That's another one that I never saw.
Oh god! What about Black Panther, where Black Panther's this big cool sci-fi film, but also at one point they go to, I want to say, is it Hong Kong or Korea? They go somewhere and then have a dumb car chase where they just jump between cars. It's a thing that I thought died out many years ago, but the more that I think about it, it's been in every... Like, I'm surprised that Infinity War didn't have a dumb car chase with, like, black Humvees.
So, I need to take a comfort
So, yeah, I might just pour... It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to... you should check the door and see if someone's still in the bathroom. But it's hard to maintain It's hard to maintain. Is there someone in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Well, what we should do for comfort is pour some iron brew.
I'm not sure that's gonna.
Is that not going to help? Is
No.
it a pee that you need?
It is.
Well,
Is this
let's pour
too
it
much
next to the.
information for the podcast.
I don't know. I think you should just be yourself, really, with these podcasts. That's what's got us to 2 viewers.
Yeah, you can't get to 2 years without being yourself.
You can't, brutally and honestly yourself. I don't know if you liked the sound of iron brew being poured next to the
Can you
mic.
even hear it? We'll
I
find
don't
out
know.
later.
We'll find out when this archives.
Instantly.
And then forget to look into it because you'd have to find the bit in the video. You'd have to go 36 minutes in and be like,
what was that one point where they poured iron brew?
that was one point where they poured new sugar tax iron brew.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to ask you your opinion, and you might be able to get into the bathroom now, so you might want to hold on to it. But have a think when you're away. Your opinion. I think the bathroom's becoming available. Have a think about your opinion about sugar-free or new sugar iron brew, and we'll have a chat about that.
Buckle up, because I have lots of opinions.
Buckle up, 2 viewers. I'll do my best to maintain. Oh, what's this? And I'm amazed at how much magical Commode Brexit Marvel brew progression has been to top content. Hi. Also, it's Callum's Andrew. Yes, love you, Andrew. How you doing? Because like I didn't want to say it was you in case it wasn't you, because if it wasn't you, I'd just be like putting you out there and being like, this is Andrew, and these are things about him, and then the world can know about them, and you wouldn't even know, and you'd be sitting back, and then I'd mention it to you when I see you next, and you'd be like, what? You said things about me online, live? To the one other people? Hi, we've got 2 viewers! This is amazing! This is amazing! I'm touching my cheeks going, this is amazing! They're actually quite warm. Again, I've been working all day out there in the Brexit fields, bringing in the beans, and it's been hard. It's been tough. It's been hard. I keep walking around these horrible analogies, but I'm just kind of trying to keep talking whilst McInnes has a wee pee. I wonder how long he'll be actually, because he takes a wee while to pee, and I don't know if he can hear me saying that, but maybe it's making him uncomfortable. Go back, by the way. Go back and have a look at basically every Marvel film. There's been an increasing amount of weird, dumb, Knight Rider-y car chases. The one in the Ant-Man and the Wasp was incredible because it kind of just lent into it and it had these dumb, no threat villains that were like from an episode of Knight Rider or the A-Team that wanted to get, was it a part or something? They wanted to get the laboratory, the wee shrinking laboratory from Hank Pym, and they were like, darn, like one of them had like a southern accent. Like they were clearly just leaning in to like Hasselhoff culture. It was great, but at the same time, why did he need to have these car chases? I thought it had ended. I thought they had ended with that dumb car chase in the Winter Soldier that went on for ages. Like I quite liked the Winter Soldier. I've not watched it since, but like it went on for ages and ages, and like Samuel L. Jackson kept getting like shot in his car, but his car was bulletproof and had rockets, and it was dumb. You're back.
Returned.
Have you returned with? I'm going to move the thing closer to you.
Yes.
By the way, David and Andrew, how's the audio on your end now that we have 2 people there? Like, you're obviously hearing us, but are you hearing us well? Do we need to sit closer?
Is there any requests you have on the
give
audio?
us some chats, some viewer and listener questions. Like, ask away. We're here. I mean, first we're probably going to talk about Iron Brew while we drink it.
So, Iron Brew, Scotland's favourite soft drink.
What about Iron Brew?
I mean,
Lidl's very own Iron Brew, 45p, not sponsoring this podcast.
I'm going to say I don't think it's as popular.
Mm-hmm.
So, George Osborne came up with this thing called a sugar tax.
I continually forget that George Osborne and Dave Cameron exist.
Yeah.
It's a weird bliss state that my mind exists in.
I'm sorry for reminding you.
No, go on.
So, essentially the premise was the more sugar you had in the soft drinks, the more tax you would have to pay.
Yeah.
So
you keep talking, I'm going to get a charger ready in case the thing craps out.
Okay. So, ostensibly the idea was, fizzy drinks will become more expensive and therefore people will drink less of them. But what happened in actuality was that all the manufacturers, to avoid being charged the sugar tax, actually just massively reduced the amount of sugar in their drinks. Now, Iron Brew is famous for being sugary. Like, people love it. People love that about it. Like,
Americans say it's bubblegummy.
bubblegum, yeah, bubblegum. Floral, it's got a sort of like florally overtones. It's so hard to describe. Like, imagine like metallic, but with flowery, like sweet, like bubblegummy. That's the best way to describe it.
Girders. It tastes like
It tastes like Gardner's. See, people were thinking this would be the last soft. This would be they would never cut, like, that is their entire brand. Especially because they had a brand called Iron Brew Extra, which was ostensibly like Iron Brew Zero. Like, it didn't have any sugar in it. Like, that was the whole point. So you'd think, oh, like, they do what Coca-Cola and Pepsi did, i.e. keep, like, just increase the price on the flagship.
Yeah, you think they would?
You think they would have done that, but no, they never. They reformulated their recipe, which, as all soft drink connoisseurs know, is probably the death knell for your drink. So they did that. New Coke, yeah. Well, New Coke was more sugary. Anyway, we can talk about New Coke.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever had it.
We've had Crystal Pepsi, haven't we?
We have had, but we can talk. We can chat about that after. So yeah, like earlier this year, that's when they changed the recipe. They were like, nope, that's the end of Old Brew. We're not making it anymore.
It tastes no different. That's what David has to say. I'm kind of with him. I'm going to be that guy and say
I
that.
haven't even described what I think
Oh my
about.
God, we've got 3 viewers. QWERTY 2010s.
Hi.
Greetings, QWERTY 2010s.
I haven't even chatted about it. So
Carry on.
when I first tasted it, and then I'm like, when it's in your mouth, it tastes exactly the same.
When it's in quote of the day, when it's in your mouth, it tastes exactly the same.
Not quite, like 95% of the way.
Wait, is this not Transformers chat? We are normally Transformers track where we are normally Transformers chart. I can't even speak. We are normally Transformers chat QWERTY 2010s, but today we're doing some off-topic stuff. Tomorrow I'll probably do some like haul stuff. I was going to do some stuff at the start, but because I've got my special guest David on, we've just been talking about Brexit and like Iron Brew and Marvel films. Hang around if you want. Oh, yay! You did a smile. Thanks.
Smile.
Who are you, QWERTY 2010s? You somebody I know on the Twitter? Give us a shout out. Aye, carry on.
So,
Oh, Andrew, like when booze prices went up and people moaned about expensive wines and then forgot to notice it in patience and it's running out. Yeah. You're new. You are new, QWERTY 2010s. Yeah, we can talk about minimum pricing for alcohol in a bit because we had a wee chat about Frosty Jacks.
So the taste while it's in your mouth is 90.
The taste when it's in your mouth.
Of Iron Brew
Yeah.
is 95% there. The aftertaste is a bit aspartame-y because that's what they did. They halved the amount of sugar and replaced it with aspartame.
Aspartame. Now, you say the word aspartame and I get scared.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. That sounds like asbestos. Like it sounds like chemicals. Is that usually what Americans have in their drinks? Aspartame? Is that?
No, they have high fructose corn syrup.
Of course, we have that instead of that, don't we?
Yeah. Well, no. So Americans, like, their normal Coca-Cola has high fructose corn syrup in it, and their diet has aspartame. Like, it's just, yeah.
I knew it was something related to Americans.
So Iron Brew does still have sugar in it. It's just half the amount, and it's kind of taking the edge off it. Like, it's not quite as good. So my main concern with Iron Brew, right, is it goes flatter quicker than
Does it?
I don't know what it is. It used to keep its fizz quite well, but now you're basically like it's in the fridge like a day and it's flat. That's it.
Again,
but I have noticed recently. I don't know whether they've done some tweaking. But it's been slightly better than I. Like, maybe I'm just getting used to it, and maybe that's heinous. But
genius.
I don't buy as much as I used to.
You were telling me that,
so
from the way you were saying it to me, it feels like you're building up a resistance to new brew. It seems like you're being converted by the system.
At one point, I wasn't buying any of it, and I've started to buy more of it. So
would you say that you prefer it flat? That's what David's saying. I also prefer it flat. I don't... It tastes better. It does taste better. I like flat, cold... Well, not cold. Room temperature brew. That's how I like to keep my brew.
You know, if like, so I had this weird thing. Like, see, when I was younger and I was unwell.
Yeah.
Like, my parents always said, "Oh, drink like flat fizzy
Yeah,
drinks.
is that a
make you
Scotch
feel
thing?
Is that like some? Is this like some delusion that Scottish people imagined? Because I don't know
That's
like what
that's
basis.
why we have all these
like,
heart problems.
I don't know what basis. I just took it as a given. Like your
That's
parents were like,
because you're a freak. That's because you're a freak, David. Not to get aggressive, but
I
hey,
just, as a kid, I just took this as a given. Like flat juice, it makes
Flat
you,
juice.
settles your stomach. That's what I always got to. Where does this come from?
is it maybe descended from the fact that brew is like a famous like hangover cure?
Yeah, but
And they're
that
like,
might be where it comes from.
like
Or
they're
was it like
raising
specifically like flat Lucozade?
flat
Like,
Lucozade. Well, like the Scotch parents are like raising their bairns, and they're new at it, and they're like, my bairn's sick. I know what really helps me: some flat juice. It's like Calpol, aggressive sugar therapy.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Calpol. Calpol's incredible. I was thinking about Calpol yesterday. I'm not sick, but I could go a pint of Calpol right now. Just a hot, steaming pint of Calpol just on that desk. I would just destroy it. I'm with you there, Andrew. Was that all you have to say about Iron Brew?
Yeah, I think so. We can move on to Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal, well, we can do that. I feel like I had something to say about the Iron Brew. I think it's fine. I've also not been drinking fizzy pop for months now. This is like my first one in months and months. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Like,
yeah.
You're made of Jakemans. I am also made of Jakemans. See if you can get a hold of Jakemans, by the way. Go to your local Savers or Semichem and pick up a packet of Jakemans and then just down them. Maybe this is bad advice to give out on the internet. Maybe we could be done for this.
What is Jakesman's?
Jakemans are those cough syrups that, not like cough
drops.
Cough drops that I can eat a packet of in like an hour. And
You know, things like that can give you like...
It does involve... they're in Morrison's Sweet Aisle, not the medicines. Oh, that is a good point.
But to be fair, cough drops are always sold in the Sweet Aisle.
They do have what is the effects that they make you need to poop
right
away.
Laxatives.
They have an incredible laxative effect. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if
it's the chemicals that are
the chemicals in it. Well, they clean you out. To be polite, they clean you out, and if you ever need that, just go get yourself some Jakemans, and it's a very mentholy time. It's a problem I have. It might be because I like Calpol. It might be because I used those little paper strips that like they were gums. They were like a Wrigley's thing.
Oh yeah, this is like 2000s nostalgia because telling anyone about those and like also they were horrible.
I loved them.
They were truly terrible. Like I
remember being in Florida in 2006 and just popping them like pills. Like
that would probably give you diarrhea.
It probably did. It was handy. It was a handy thing to have.
Like the thing about them was like, I feel like they were so minty, like they were aggressively minty, and you put them on your tongue, and then they got like all sticky.
Yeah, yep. Like you could put multiple on your tongue and it would get all like clogged up, and like it was great. I lived for that. I've had a look into it.
Totally dead.
Oh Christ! I remember those. They came in a weird sort of dispenser thing.
Yep,
yeah,
it was like a little
it was like a
plastic thing,
like a sellotape dispenser. Kind of like it was like a flat with a little flap.
Yeah, it's like flat. It was like a flat, and then you picked them up, and it was like they were insanely thin. So it was like 20 in a pack, maybe. They died off. Like they were there for like a hot year or two.
I feel like it was longer than that, but again, I was like a kid, so years lasted for decades back then. Do you remember the summer the Phantom Menace came out? Because that summer lasted like 13 years.
I can remember being in Woolworths and there being Darth Maul toys.
Yeah. Did you see that meme that Mar shared? The mall cop.
No.
It was Darth Maul, but in like a mall cop outfit. Like it was Darth Maul mall cop. Paul Blart mall cop. I'm gonna keep saying mall cop. I'm brave enough to say that I have looked into importing those menthol strips from other countries.
Oh no.
Pod racing hype, yes. We went and saw. I dragged you and our friend Michael to see the 3D showing of the Phantom Menace.
Was I there?
I feel like you might. Like maybe you resisted. Maybe you were like, no, Craig.
Locked the memory from my head.
Well, that one has extended scenes in it. That one's a longer film than the normal
cut. Does it have more pod racing?
It has more pod racing. I feel like it enhances it. Like I really enjoyed it. Like what that film definitely wasn't needing was more pod racing.
I love how like the sheer like 90s marketing of it, they basically developed that entire film around pod racing.
Pod racing,
like,
yeah.
They knew it was going to be like, they were like, we got like a multi-brand strategy going on with the pod racing, because think out all the toys we got
all
like a kid protagonist, like the toys.
You should watch
games.
You should watch the Toys That Made Us on Netflix. It's a really good documentary. It has a great bit in it where they're talking about how George Lucas was getting screwed on toy rights. with Mattel. I feel like it was. Was it Mattel?
Sounds about
If
right.
Andrew, if you know, and Callum will probably know, he was getting screwed with some company, and they only had to pay him 10 grand a year to keep the toy rights, and then if they didn't pay it for 1 year, the rights would revert back to like negotiations or something, and then they didn't do that for 1 year in the early 90s or late 80s. So
Was that how dead Star Wars was?
it was a dark time for Star Wars apparently, and like it doesn't feel like it, but
Yeah.
maybe that was before our time, but he got the toy rights back, and then very suddenly announced he was going to do the prequels.
Yeah, that sounds like old Lucas.
Yeah, I think the pod racing thing kind of worked because
Oh, it did work. Like in terms of the marketing,
No,
it
but
absolutely,
absolutely.
Worked. Oh, what, in the context of the film?
in the context of I kind of really want to buy. Was it pod racing on the N64 or like the Dreamcast?
Those games, there was arcade games.
Yeah.
There was Dreamcast
I played.
games.
I played
All the games had like it was
Yeah.
marketing genius.
Well, I want to buy one of them because one of them was always on in Comet or Curry's down the retail part,
Yeah.
and that was my only exposure to it. And I don't think I've ever played a pod racing game because I wouldn't have had it on the PS1 and I didn't have it on the PS2. So that film continues to work as a marketing device to
It
make me
does.
want to buy a pod racing
Next,
game.
they'll be bringing back pod racing for episode 9.
Episode 9 just start with like a 16-minute pod race with like Rose and like Carrie Fisher's corpse, I guess. Like,
What would the awful Star Wars fans want?
is old Lucas like his Ben Kenobi name? I love Ben Kenobi's name because you know how he has to go into hiding for 20 years, but he's
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to change my first name
Yeah.
and change nothing else about me. I'm just going to walk about in my Jedi robes. I stole that from a meme, but I feel justified because like that is where the corner he wrote
Memes
himself
are
into.
shareable culture. That's the entire point.
Aye. Until the EU steps in, am I right? Banning memes.
Brexit.
We may as well get out the now so we can keep our memes. Hi, I'm Fred Pinocchio. I don't know what that
Fred
means.
Pinochet.
Who's Fred Pinochet?
I don't know who Pinochet was, like the dictator of Peru.
Maybe he
Chile?
means this is Obi-Wan Kenobi's
Yeah.
name. It's hard to keep up. I wonder what the lag's like in terms of typing it in and then us seeing it on the screen.
If I remember from last night, it was pretty like I would send a message and see it like 10 seconds later.
That's not too bad for what we're doing, what we're operating out of. The is something you'll hear a lot from me, by the way, if you keep listening. Pod racing, Star Wars, Episode 9. Did you hate The Last Jedi? I feel like if I say the words "I hate The Last Jedi," a million people are gonna like spring in and like.
Reddit has heard us. Like we're gonna get.
Yeah, The Last Jedi was like that was garbage. That was the most garbage like.
We're gonna get all the Kathleen Kennedy haters.
Yeah, if we just keep saying Kathleen Kennedy. There we go, look!
Kathleen
It's happened!
Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy! Oh my god! It just went from 1 to 3. Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy. I thoroughly enjoyed The Last
So
Jedi.
did I really
yeah.
enjoyed The Last
Like,
Jedi. I think it was a
goodbye,
great
everybody.
film.
Those two people that joined us. I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. Like, I thought it was. I mean, maybe it still works because we're just saying The Last Jedi over and over, and the AI has heard us. I thought The Last Jedi was good.
Yeah.
I think I've sat down and I've written in giant Facebook post about the things
Yeah.
I thought were dumb about The Last Jedi.
There's a lot dumb about it.
There's a lot dumb about it, but it's a Star Wars film. The cloud hears all.
It does. It does.
Oh, look, we're back down to 2 now that we're saying that we like it. Yeah, I hate The Last Jedi because I really like The Last Jedi. That's where we're gonna go with this. You know, we've got to maintain BBC like non-biasness on The Last Jedi. Let's get Nigel Farage in here to say how much he really likes
Is it
The
good?
Last
Because
Jedi.
Actually, yeah, that's total BBC. Great.
I like see the Star Wars films, the new ones, the Disney ones. I don't have like a disrespectful name for them yet. I don't know if that's been
Do
coined.
they have a disrespectful?
They probably do. Like Kennedy, I don't like. There's probably something to name them, something witty and fun. Those Disney films have gotten better with each Star Wars film. I did not like The Force Awakens when I first saw it. And I've come round on it since. I've seen it on Netflix. But see, when I first saw it, I was very angry about them not developing like planetary shields after 30 years. I know that's a deep nitpick, or like a very nerdy, like, what, they don't have planetary... But like, see if you live in a universe where like people can just build guns that can kill planets, and you've got 30 years to develop shields, that's a no-brainer for me. And the thing that killed me, I know, because we're going to talk about Rogue One here, they have planetary shields in Rogue One. It's a plot point in Rogue One that they can't get into the planet because an entire planet is shielded. I will die on the hill of Rogue One. I didn't see what the rest of that was.
Being the best one.
I like it. I don't think it's a very good film.
So dread out of the ship for such dreadful reasons. So the thing I like about The Last Jedi is it's like, for like a blockbuster film, it's incredibly unconventional.
See,
like all the main characters are split up. Like Finn and Rey, like I think they have one scene together. Maybe?
I don't know if they do.
They never have.
Maybe at the end.
I think maybe in my head they have like one scene together.
Maybe they say hi to each other.
Yeah, I think they. But like,
let's have to watch it again.
There's like your two leading roles in a totally different space. There's a lot of plot going on there, and I feel like it plays it off pretty well. Because
my thing that I always say,
there's the stuff with Rey and Luke, which I thought was pretty good. Like, it kind of dragged on a bit, but like
it
there's
dragged
a lot
on
of
a
good
bit.
stuff there.
My main
Porgs.
thing, Porg. I like Porg.
And Mark Hamill was really good in it. Like
Mark Hamill's a good actor.
Yeah.
He's just been in a cave for 30 years, being
So
a grumpy
then,
old man.
There's all that. So yeah, that's happening. Then there's all the Finn stuff with the planets. Like there's one planet left. Blah.
Yeah.
No, one ship left.
One
sorry,
ship.
Yeah.
See, if I got into that's what I don't like about the film.
And what's her face?
Kathleen Kennedy. No, that's not her name.
Other
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Playing Holdo. Is that her name? Admiral Holdo.
I thought she was good in that film.
Yeah, where are we? Old Man Hamill deserves a TV show of him dicking about.
He does.
Well, there's fucking like Shatner has that TV show called Shit My Dad Says. Get him like a terrible sitcom. Like, I know he's in every DC thing, being the voice of everyone, and he's also in The Flash, being the trickster, because he played him in the 90s. He's that guy. But my thing about The Last Jedi is that it does a hell of a lot to subvert things in Star Wars, but it doesn't necessarily get anything out of that. Like, I didn't find, because it does like things like Luke just throws the lightsaber away at the start, and like, things don't work out the way they should for normal Star Wars characters, but at the end of the day, I didn't get much enjoyment out of its subversions. So I don't see the point of them necessarily.
I guess the point of that was just made like a lot of films, but yeah. So then like it all kind of felt like there's that stuff, and then it builds up to the final confrontation, which is really really good.
I think that
there's a lot of things going on there because you get Luke's fantastic rubbing his shoulders.
He rubbed his shoulders, yeah.
Brilliant, like that's one of the best Star Wars moments ever.
I think,
so you got like that quieter, like big moment with Luke. Like, obviously, it's like his one song. I don't know.
There's a lot going. There's a hell of a lot that works in that ending with like because he's like, oh, I'm just going to like stand up in front of the First Order with a laser sword and fight them all.
Yeah.
Which he does do, but he also doesn't do. So like to me, that him not actually fighting, like I know a lot of people that criticize the film is like, oh, you just want him to go out there and be a god mode anime character and like cut the legs off AT-AT walkers and shit.
Well,
like,
that's what
I do want to see
fun,
that.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Like, I think the problem is, and I've said this for a couple films now, is the demographic for the Star Wars fans, or the very least the vocal ones, is that they grew up with the prequels and they like those films. And they were
kids.
They were kids, and like, it's kind of it's a horrible place for Star Wars people making it to be because they're making it for the people that write the original trilogy and the pacing and tone of that.
Yeah.
And people like that. Millions of people like that. It's the most popular thing in the
It's a
world.
weird time to bring back Star Wars because the kids who were watching
the
those
millennials
films aren't old enough to be making films yet.
Yeah, or they're getting on for it. Like, this is what...
Basically, Star Wars is a microcosm of our
generate clickbait headlines, terrible. Yeah, you only make things for people to hate nowadays. I discovered this with Dan Slott and his Spider-Man. You make things to be hated.
Basically, Star Wars is a microcosm for our generational attrition. That everyone hates their older generation.
Absolutely, like 100%.
These youth Star Wars fans probably call like J.J. Abrams like fucking baby boomers, probably. Still.
I mean, how old is J.J. Abrams?
I think he's like.
I think he
Gen
stopped
X.
aging at one point. Is he Gen X or is he older than that?
I think he might be like he's sort of that year. I hear he'll be a Gen X or
okay, but
not that. It's dumb people calling people like Gen anyway.
Gen.
It's like a total.
You belong to your Gen.
It's a total, like,
stay in your Gen.
American culture, just because like everything's like the economy in America, so we have to like describe everything. Like everything's millennials.
Millennials. I said this some time ago, but I bet you 50p that the next Star Wars film, or probably the one after it, to be honest, will have a high ground meme in it. Like they, like they have to do something to. Like I know none of the horrible things said on YouTube matters, but like there's a feeling out there because I've talked to people on the street. I've went out and like spoke to people, and like people have said that they didn't go to see Solo because of Disney Star Wars, and like they've not specifically said it's because of the WOMs, but there's been an undercurrent there of the WOMs. There's people that are like like deep nerds that I've spoken to that didn't go see the last Star Wars because they weren't feeling it. Yeah, yeah, like we don't like Star Wars. Like we don't think about Star Wars every second of the day. I don't have giant stands of Star Wars things over there,
No.
but we go see Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
it's
you should have.
compliance,
I feel like
you
that's
know?
a good way to handle it because the people who are other like the no, the people on Reddit are bad. Is what I'm trying to say.
I've never been on Reddit. I just see YouTube, and to be fair, my algorithm. I don't know how my algorithm will be after this. After we've said Kathleen Kennedy as many times as we have.
So here's my wish for episode 9
Mhm.
is that Rose has the Force.
Yeah. Well, I thought everybody was going to have the Force. See, with the Force Awakening,
Yeah.
and like you know how they split Luke basically into Finn, Rey, and Poe.
Yeah.
Like they took his characters of like a pilot, like the Jedi, and like the audience
Yeah,
surrogate,
yeah.
and they split them up into different characters. I thought that like, all right, Rey will start with the Force, and then Poe will get it because he's got flying skills.
It's
or whatever.
basically a free film arc of Rey gaining the Force. That's basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of people a bit like saying like, oh, like how did Rey get these Force powers? And
Do you
it's like,
think
well,
Finn will get the Force?
I don't know now. I thought that was going to be the course. I thought
Yeah.
I thought this would be the film where Rey got the Force because that's what they're kind of setting up. But it probably would diminish Rey's character if everybody else had the Force.
You know how like Americans whoop and holler in the cinema?
Yeah.
If Rose gets the Force, I will whoop and just
You will whoop and holler.
the sheer hatred that would.
I thought Rose was a cool character.
She was fine. Like there's her character was so just sort like there was nothing to hate about it.
She was a Star Wars
Yeah.
character. She was pretty fun. I thought she made really good decisions in the
Were
film.
people annoyed because like they wanted to put Rey and Finn together? Like,
Well, like that is kind of what the first film set up. But I mean, traditionally,
that's what I mean about why that film was kind of ambitious because they split apart the two leads that they had established.
I don't know. To be cynical, you would say that's what they did in Empire Strikes Back, where it looked like Luke and Leia were going to be together, and then they put Han.
you're right.
Like, but I didn't think it was even that much of a thing, really. Like, she kissed him at one point, and like you could see that as being like one-sided love. It's all because she's an Asian woman. That's right, Andrew. It
You're
is.
absolutely right.
Apparently, she was like the first Asian woman on the cover of some magazine. I forget. It was a big
Was it
magazine.
Vogue?
Vogue or something. I don't want to like say it
I
'cause I
think
can't
it was
remember what it is.
Vogue.
But I was blown away by that. How did it take to 2018 for that to happen?
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, that is bizarre.
And for that person to be who played a minor character.
Minor character in Star Wars.
Middling character in
Yeah.
a Star Wars film.
I liked Rose in that film because there was a scene.
She's not gonna like. This is what I kind of like. This is what I like about the hatred towards it because that's just gonna push the creative team in the other way. Like whatever plans they had for Rose, massively
Yeah.
expanded, and fair play to them because that actress did absolutely nothing wrong and never deserved anything. She got whatsoever.
She got dogpiled by the internet.
For no, like she had the audacity to be in a film, and these people are for like fucking fuck off.
I thought she was a good character. Like she made a lot of smart decisions in that film.
Yeah.
There was that bit where she had her like talisman or like her necklace from her sister, and like her sister has a scene at the start. Did you know her sister was in the film? She was one of the bomber pilots.
Yeah.
Like she had that thing and she was holding on to it, and then the Del Toro character wanted it because he was like a slimy sleazeball that wanted to trade information or his services for her talisman that had a special metal. And then he asked her for that, and then she was like, okay. She just like gave him the thing. She didn't like derail the mission or anything because it was emotional. She was like, no, we have to save everyone from.
Yeah.
So she made this like, and that was the tone of
That
her
seems
character.
Like, yeah, that seems like the kind of decision that Star Wars fans should like.
Yeah.
Like crafty, like.
Just pragmatic problem solve. Like it just, I was like blown away when I heard that she was underwhelmed. Liked. It also like.
It went under the radar as well. Like they just hate, hate just constant. No matter what they do, these people are after you on Instagram.
It's not. It's just they hate in general. You know. I'm looking forward to seeing how this spirals into hate. Like after this, like I was saying, I thought The Last Jedi was fine. there's a lot of dumb things in it that contribute to it being dogpileable. There's a lot of bits in it that are like, see the whole like running away from the Star Destroyers and the Star Destroyers not being able to shoot down these old rebel ships. It's not like a plot hole. It's not something you can be all like, oh, that's a plot hole. It's just a dumb bit of the film that doesn't really hold up if you think about it for a second.
Yeah.
But you're not necessarily doing that in a
I
Star Wars
feel
film.
like that's the problem. I feel like it's overthinking everything that happens leads to.
Mm. Well, I think the problem is a lot of media is a lot better than that, but Star Wars is going for this tone where it's like a film serial from the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's not asking you to think about the mechanics of how turbo lasers work.
Yeah.
Because I saw a video about that the other day. It's like turbo lasers explained.
I mean,
It's just saying like, do you remember
Star Wars has a bad history of going into things that you don't need to go into. Like,
I like midichlorians. I don't. Probably Andrew likes them as well. I will die on that. Like power levels are fine. See if they had actual scouters and they're like, oh, his midichlorian level's like 2,000. I'd be all about that. But and you can't get away from that now. We know that midichlorians exist,
Yep.
and they're never going to say the words midichlorians
no, absolutely.
in like the films unless they're like getting into that prequel
J.J.
love.
Abrams would have to resign for them to do that. Like, honestly, I'm not joking.
See, that's what I'm kind of worried about.
I mean, to be fair, he might have become a company man since he became. Like,
Well, he doesn't care, does he? He got his fanfic out. Like he made his like Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Like you'll just turn up and be like,
It's like maybe he's such a company man that like Kathleen Kennedy goes to him and goes,
midichlorians. We need the midichlorians, like the millennials and midichlorians. And they're a broken canon. There's a root cause in there somewhere for all the hate. I think people just like to hate nowadays, Andrew. Like I think that's where we're at. It's probably where we've always been at. The like Star Wars fans hated the prequels.
They've been at cons for years.
Like I don't know. I've liked it more and more each time because I really liked Solo. Like I don't think Solo's any kind of great film or anything, but it was an incredibly enjoyable
fun.
film.
Like there's a lot of fun stuff in
There's
it.
a lot of dumb, fun stuff.
Like, big Lando Calrissian.
Like Donald Glover.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, Donald Glover, who like was in that film and is still at the height of his like that film that bombed.
Yeah.
Like you think a film that like bombed and destroyed Star Wars would destroy the careers of anyone in it, but Donald Glover or Childish Gambino is just out there like dropping sick beats, as the youth say, and like it's fine. Do you remember? Do you see that picture of when Dan Reichert met new Han Solo?
No.
Have we not talked about how he was like outside waiting for his friend, and then Dan Reichert bumped into new Han Solo, and then
that seems like the exact kind of thing that Dan Reichert would do.
Dan Reichert had his like traditional happy young Dan Reichert face on, and young Han Solo seemed really happy to meet Dan Reichert.
Fair play.
I'm just going to repeat the words Kathleen Kennedy. I hate The Last Jedi. It's the worst film ever made. I don't know. Rogue One's a bad film. Sorry, Andrew.
I don't like Rogue One.
I like a lot of what Rogue One. That scene on the beach, like that battle scene on the beach,
The
was
battle
great.
scenes. I just wished I cared about the characters more.
That is a problem. You love Saul Guerrera. I was
so Guerrero.
So I was walking the other day and I was thinking about you having coming out of that
I think
film.
like, the character names in that film are so bad. I don't know what it is.
Jenner Erso.
Jennerzo.
It's taken me about low battery.
Saul Guerrero. Like Star Wars songs, right? They've always like Luke, Princess Leia,
no, that's their
Han.
thing. That's their thing. They do generic names mixed in with fantasy names. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So who was generic name in that film? Because there was
who was the guy? What was his name?
Guy Man Guy.
Man.
You know the man, the guy.
Man who went along with Jennerzo.
Is it effectively self-contained? I would say that Rogue One.
There's probably a couple of threads for books, would be my guess.
Yeah.
But I don't really read Star Wars books, so.
I'm plugging the charger in if you're hearing clacks. Well, doesn't Rogue One exist to explain how they got the Death Star plans?
Yes.
And I know that they didn't get the Death Star plans off Bothans in the first film. I know many Bothans didn't die to get those plans. But I would have been fine just thinking that.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have been fine to just think it was Bothans. They killed many Bothans to get those plans. And then, like, 3 years later, they phoned up the remaining Bothans. And they're like, they're building another Death Star. Get your Bothans in there. Boffins are apparently like tiger or lion men, by the way.
Nice.
Didn't know that until I had looked it up. You're, bloody love boffins. I think you can play them in one of the Battlefront games.
Oh,
They die a lot.
Just, was this the whole thing we can go on to chat about?
Oh, I've not
save
played.
that for another podcast.
Yeah.
That's
We're doing quite well.
We're doing quite well.
Rogue One, I really like
If you get
how we're over an hour.
Over an hour.
Yeah.
We're like an hour 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we can wind down.
Yeah, we'll wind down.
I'll say my last thing about Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One, it feels a lot like Suicide Squad.
Maybe a lot of the crew and pilots were Boffins.
Maybe a lot of the crew. Maybe. I mean, yeah. There was a lot of generic Rebel troopers, wasn't there, by the end? Because they had their Suicide Squad of like named characters.
Yeah.
And then they just piloted in some Boffins.
Halo Reach was a better.
I've not played Halo Reach. I know you love it, and I know I should play it, but I've never played Halo games. I tried to play Halo 3 and got bored.
Halo Reach is a media with the exact same plot.
Yeah.
And it's better than Rogue One.
I feel I can watch an anime of Halo Reach. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a vector for me to get it in me. I think Andrew's left us, by the way, because we said Suicide. Compared.
No.
No, hello.
Come back.
Halo, is it me you're looking for? Oh,
That means
Andy.
that.
The Rogue One.
Rogue One was good looking. I really.
It was cool. Was it the Fast and the Furious guy? Was it Tokyo Driftman or like later generations?
No, I feel like it was some British guy.
Was it? I'm pretty sure it was one of the Fast and the Furious things.
Possibly. I like the beach. The look of the beach.
The
was
beach.
Really good.
We love a good like war thing that ends up like Gears of War 3 with its like magical beach ending.
Whenever anyone said, "Oh, Gears of War is dumb brown,"
Gears of War gets more colourful with each. Maybe it goes back on it after like the Baird game and 4 and now 5. Is 5 happening?
5's happening this.
I hear incredible things about 4 with like a mech ending, but I'll never play it because I don't have an Xbone. I suppose I could play it online on like PC.
Get a PC.
I could probably get a PC to play Gears of War 4.
I feel like it might not have came out on PC.
I feel like it doesn't every game. Doesn't
No,
do that?
I think that was in a period where they were sort of like equivocating on it. Like some games did, some games didn't. Whereas now they're like every Microsoft game comes out on PC.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, I like the beach scene in Rogue One. It was great. It was great that they killed every character in that film.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Rogue One. I'm not so big on the Darth Vader scene. I know everybody loves the Darth Vader scene.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was fine. It was Darth Vader. I liked his little castle on Mustafar, where they got the shot of him in the tube. Because that's the fan service that people want from Darth Vader, is to see him without his mask and in a tube.
Can we talk about how we went, while we were seeing that film, Carrie Fisher...
Did she die?
Carrie Fisher...
Oh, no.
Carrie Fisher became ill.
Right.
Right, like...
When we saw the CGI flesh puppet of her young self.
Like, literally, the same night as we watched that film. Like, I mean, a lot of people, because the film had just come out, it wasn't like...
Yeah.
I looked at my phone and Carrie Fisher was taken out. Like,
that is sad. That is sad. It doesn't... I'm not a big Carrie Fisher fan, so it doesn't hit me. I know I'm a human, so I should probably feel bad that Carrie Fisher died. But, like, it's not like... I'm going to jinx things now. It's not like Hasselhoff died. You know, it's not like Shatner. You know, it's not that level
Hasselhoff has got too many farm food zags.
Hasselhoff will not die.
Pantos in Glasgow with the Crankies, like the
we should go see Hasselhoff. Should we go, like, as in Glasgow? We'll need to look this up.
I know it's not kosher to like research.
Right, you research. I don't know. The Bombcast people do it.
Yep.
Brad's man in that PC. But we should. I would 100% go see Hasselhoff. I don't know if I go. I suppose are the Crankies alive?
Yes.
It was
Hasselhoff Panto 2018.
I mean, the dedication for Carrie Fisher at the end of The Last Jedi was a wee bit of a tearjerker. I really liked Carrie Fisher in The Last Jedi. I thought her like flying through space scene was fine. Like, she has the Force. She's also like a magical space princess. It's fine. Like, I don't need to get angry that she didn't die from exposure to the vacuum. I feel like they never take exposure to the vacuum seriously in Star Wars. Like, you see all these clone troopers that have like, and like TIE fighter dudes or variants on them that don't have the full face thing, and they're fine. Like they send X-Wing people up with just like a visor and a helmet and then expect them to be fine if like screen cracks, you know?
It's looking like
yes or no?
Hasselhoff is not in the Crankies.
What? Is he in any pantomime?
The Crankies pantomime this year is Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the Crankies with Gavin Mitchell, who I feel like is
Gavin Mitchell.
Bobby from Still Game.
Right. Yeah, I
And
feel like I heard
Jonathan
about
Watson,
that.
I have no. So they've gone down a little bit. Like they had.
It's a bad
they
place
had
to
the
go down from
Hasselhoff,
Hasselhoff.
and now they have Bobby from Still.
Look, let's just see if he's in anything
The
this year.
Crankies just.
Has there been any piece of media or pantomime where David Hasselhoff and John Barrowman have like just combined?
Very awesome. Have you ever seen the Crankies?
I've never seen them live. The Vacuum ain't that bad, really, to be honest. I don't know if I can get into it with this, David. Like, how bad is the Vacuum? Is the Vacuum bad, or is it, bad?
I need to find out what pantomime David Hasselhoff is doing this year. Why doesn't it?
He
tell
must
me?
be doing it.
Why
See,
doesn't it?
I'm a little
tell
bit
me?
sad that I'm not an American that can have like a pretty cool like film career and then just spend his like retirement days in Britain doing pantomimes and Dave shows. But like livable. Is it livable? Can you have like a nice life in the Vacuum? Like, well,
I'm a bit because like you know how like David Hasselhoff does lots of work because he's got a German passport. I feel like
Zadu Hasselhoff, Zadu Hasselfrau.
What
yes.
happens? What happens?
Make me
after
sad for
Brexit?
Guardians.
Like,
Oh no! Will they have to deport
They
Hasselhoff?
might have to deport Hasselhoff.
Will it be like the end of that Simpsons episode where like they're going to deport Apu
I
and
mean-
like they save Apu, but then like Willie gets like kicked out of the country?
I hope he's rich enough that he can just bypass
Oh,
whatever
yes.
happens.
He must have British citizenship or something. He can't even work for Dave and not be a blue passport carrying. Oh dear.
What blooming pantomime is he doing?
He must be doing a
What
panto.
bloody pantomime? Like I googled it. Like, okay.
I feel like I could be David Hasselhoff's assistant. I
Aberdeen.
could get him like I could
I mean,
go beans for
okay.
him. I could get him coffees. I could be abused by him.
This is fascinating. Like look at like. I feel like
We're looking at pantomimes by the now. I know this is an audio thing, and we should have video, but we don't.
okay, so just look at pantomime posters. Like
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Are they all designed by the same person?
Well-
Is there some like pantomime corporation
Well,
that designs
remember,
all of these posters?
I'm pretty sure it's the same
Okay,
guy
let's
that
go for-
does.
So Aberdeen has Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Not
Okay.
heard of anyone. I'm looking for people that.
You
Oh.
look quietly while I say this, because I'm pretty sure the same person that designs the pantomime posters is the same one man that designs all of the stand-up DVD covers.
Yes. So highlights.
Yes.
At the Birmingham Hippodrome, there is Peter Pan with Jimmy Osmond.
You're gonna have to tell me people. I don't
You don't
know
know
people.
Jimmy, it's one of these like American.
Oh, Jimmy Osmond.
Performers
Yeah.
from like the
I need to think about people in context.
70s.
From the design company that brought you the Works logo. How dare you, sir? It is a fine logo. There are multiple fine logos that we have at the Works. Probably shouldn't say that. We can't
We've
get into
spoken
it. We
about the
cannot
Works
get into
logo many times. Like this is cultural.
I
like,
don't think we should mention
it's a
it.
known fact amongst the population that the Works had a bad logo. That's incredible.
I think there's much worse logos out there. Isn't I can't actually think of one off the top of my head. I'm kind
Oh
of
dear,
flagging.
Hull doesn't have a cast.
Hull doesn't have a. It's just a. What? It's just a picture of the word Cinderella on a background.
Oh no, Wren Kitchens, the seat of that.
Wren Kitchens, oh god. I
Shane,
keep saying
Shane
Wren.
Ritchie is
Saint Ritchie. Nice.
Robin Hood.
Alright, that's
Joe
very good.
Pasquale is Peter Pan.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Pasquale. Who's.
Oh, Steve McFadden is Dick Whittington. That's
Oh, alright.
incredible.
We've made Peep Show very happy by like broadcasting the word Wren Kitchens. Is this free advertising for you? Do you think someone's going to buy a kitchen off the strength of this podcast? Is this a podcast? Can we call this a podcast? See if it's live. Is it a podcast?
Yeah, I think like a lot of podcasts record live and they have like extra.
Yeah.
Ian from his dentist, it's Aladdin.
Ian Beale. I don't think I could go to a pantomime where Ian Beale is the headliner. That'd just be a sad time.
He's such a headliner.
We sold Susan Boyle a kitchen on Monday. Is that true? Did you actually sell Susan Boyle a kitchen? Because that's a joke, but it could also be very, very true.
She's probably got enough money that she just gets kitchens.
You know how the Blue Lagoon Chippy advertises?
Yes, pictures.
I have pictures. The best celeb gossip I've ever heard.
Absolutely. That's why
Did your company con Susan Boyle into buying a kitchen?
That's why people listen to us for hot celebrity gossip.
Yeah.
It's a
Susan
USP.
Boyle. Did you? Oh, well, I've got hot celebrity gossip. Right. Chico. You know, Chico
had
time.
a stroke.
Chico had a stroke. I don't know what to make of that. Like, is he just so fabulous that he had a stroke?
Maybe it's just
Or is he just so stressed that he had a stroke? How does Chico have a stroke?
Maybe he just performed too much. I saw a great
Yeah.
quote. I saw a great quote from him where it's like, "I'm totally fine to have a novelty career. Like it's given me a
Who's
great career."
Chico? Who's Chico? You remember Chico?
It's Chico time.
It's Chico's time.
2006.
Was it 2K6?
Probably 2006. I want to say it was. It might even have been 2005.
Chico's a very acceptable X Factor Britain's Got Talent thing to like, in my opinion.
People forget how long the X Factor has been going on.
Yeah, and it's on like twice a year, isn't it, or something
Probably.
insane? Oh no! Yeah, Chico had a stroke, Andy. Like, what? How does Chico physically have a stroke?
Well,
maybe his life's
maybe raising stroke awareness, like anyone can have a stroke.
I have thought a lot about strokes since Chico had a stroke.
Like you could have a stroke.
I could
have a stroke.
If Chico could have a stroke, then anyone can have a stroke.
And we were going to give some public service advice. So if you think someone might be having a stroke, I think there's I forget there's like a mnemonic that you use for it.
I can't remember the mnemonic.
I've forgotten the mnemonic, but I can really you check.
We've lost a lot of years since we started talking about Chico. Oh no, we're getting them back.
You're like, if your face is drooping,
yeah,
you need to ask them to speak. Like if they can't speak, then that's
something about raising their arm.
If they can't raise their arms above their head, then that is a sign they are having a stroke. So public service advice.
I know I'm making light of it, but it's a very, very Chico's time has finally come, finally. I like Chico. Chico was one of those people that did the like panel show circuits back in. You could turn on Dave right now and watch 2007 Mock the Week, and Chico will at least be mentioned.
Absolutely.
Chico's great. Maybe he's a hardline Brexiter. To be very fair, I've not checked in on Chico for a decade. Maybe he's out. Maybe he made that bus ad.
Is Chico I feel like is Chico not like Greek or like Cypriot?
Yep, I don't know or care what he is, but I can imagine anyone is a hardline Brexiter these days. Like that is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Like Chico's like Putin's #1 man.
Oh, no.
Like he's out there making the fake news accounts.
What if Chico double-crossed Putin and that's why he had the stroke?
Yeah, exactly.
Did Putin poison Chico?
I could see that happening. Putin. That's a sad. That's why Hull doesn't have a cast. Like Chico was going to be there. Yeah. That's why all those pictures don't.
Had to hastily.
All those pantomimes don't have a cast because Chico has been stricken down by Checker's plan, more like Chico's plan.
I'd be pro Brexit if Chico's gone.
I've got that on record now. Oh.
We're done. We can't.
Yeah.
No, we'll call it.
Well, I'll change the name of the podcast to Chico's Plan.
I'm hungry now.
Are you hungry now? What are you going to have?
I'm probably going to go get £5 pizzas.
I have just remembered that I left the frozen ready meals on the counter and not in the freezer, and we've been talking for like an hour and a bit.
They'll be fine.
Check the team for Subo evidence. Okay, we're going to go to our Facebook groups and we're going to have a recap. Susan Boyle. This is great. I'm surprised this lasted, by the way.
That's great. Put in the comments what you liked about it.
Comment,
comment, and subscribe.
Thanks for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure.
We've done this 3 nights in a row now.
Yeah.
Well, I've done this 3 nights in a row. This is your first night on the show. But you were our first caller yesterday. You were caller number 1. And today, our viewership has skyrocketed.
Yep.
There was that point when we had like 3, wasn't it? It was like
3 viewers. I don't think it ever hit 4, but we did get to 3.
I feel like we've had 4 viewers because we've had 2 people that is
one
people. Oh yeah,
someone left really quickly.
Somebody from Twitter came, if you're still listening to this, I don't think you are, cracking entertainment, 10 out of 10. Would you like to see this nightly? Would you like to see us grind ourselves into the dust, like chatting? We probably can't like do like chats every night, but we can do this at least once a week.
Yeah, like that.
You can call in, everybody can call in. I'm just not going to stop talking. I really need to drink. Like I've drank half this Iron Brew and I'm still.
Right, I'm gonna speak for a little bit while Greg, and then we can do a goodbye.
Do a goodbye. I feel like I've got another thing to say. I mean, nothing can top the Chico plan, but.
Sunday, we should call the Sunday newspapers. They'll want to know about
the brightest stars burn out the quickest, says Andy. I'm gonna keep calling you Andy. It's weird. I don't think I've ever called you Andy, but that's what your handle is. So it's like forcing me to say Andy. It's like when you call like Mike or Michael or Alan
absolutely.
Or G Lion. There's one like. Hi, this is great. There was that point where the person from Twitter came and was like, "Isn't this Transformers chat?"
Yeah, that did.
And they were a trooper. They stayed for at least 5 minutes.
Do you have anything to say about Transformers before we go? Just to
I
get
love
some of it in.
Transformers.
That's always
Not
good.
as much as I hate Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh,
But
that'll get the algorithms going.
the moon has risen, by the way, in the time that we've sat here. I've watched it
That is a
streak across the
big
skyline.
moon.
We're back at 3. I have many names. The count is a terrible old one that I regret picking.
Yeah, we all have that problem, Andy.
We all have that problem, don't we? That's one of those deep shames of the social media age. I'm a little bit scared that the algorithm did pick up on us talking about Kathleen Kennedy, because it did
You
skyrocket.
did make that joke, and it did like double.
It doubled.
So
Like,
that means Google is listening.
I've wasted an hour of my life.
Well,
No, you haven't.
and with that,
Astro News, how's the moon now? The
it's
moon,
kind of orangey, like it's almost a full moon, not
it's
quite.
getting
It's
on
like
for a
95%
full
full.
moon. You might be able to see the moon from where you are on the Earth, but we have a nice vantage. It's always the same side of the moon. I've always wanted to ask this. Is that how the rotation works? Is it?
Yeah, you always
see the same side. You don't see the dark side.
No.
Yeah. I feel like I had another salient point that I wanted to get out before we finished, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. So I'm going to keep waffling until we do, because I'm not going to let you leave. You're not going to get your dinner.
I need my dinner, Craig.
We bought Superman today. We need to talk a little, like for at least 5 minutes, about how we bought Superman
Okay,
today.
I'm going to take a comfort break.
You go take a comfort break. Kathleen Kennedy related stuff. Kathleen Kennedy wrote Superman today. I didn't think she had it in her. I didn't think I've needed to be for like 25 minutes. Hurry up. Why don't you just take us to the bathroom? Like, I assume you're listening on your phone or or you on your laptop, right? Get like a series of tubes and like aim yourself into the bathroom. Like, let Jess know before you do this, and then just fire away. You can probably hear David. I can hear David P, and I don't know if the audio will pick it up. I don't know if that's like a hackable thing, the sound of people's pee, but I'm going to talk over it, just in case it is. We bought Superman today. Dave, if you're listening, please get in touch. We're very concerned about you. I know I've harassed you on your social media accounts, but that's no reason to go silent. Literally get in contact with us. We'll talk about pedophiles. We'll talk about what's happening in the news. I miss your comic shop. Amazing early memes reference a series of tubes. I remember learning about a series of tubes from Miniclip games. It may have not been Miniclip, but it was in high school, and there was a game, like a flash game, that was a series of tubes, and I didn't understand it then, and I only vaguely understand it now. Superman. I bought, and David also bought the same issue of Superman today, because Superman is a comic that you can go out and buy, and it's written by Brian Michael Bendis. And it's weird that he's like jumped ship from Marvel and is now a DC writer, but I'm really excited to read this issue of Superman because it has Ivan Reis art and it looks amazing. And
the art fantastic.
It's enhanced by the paper quality.
They've changed like DC previous. I don't know, like
we've been out of the game for like a year.
Changed printers or comic book shop. Shadley.
I made a plea for Dave. I was like, please get in touch. We're really concerned for you. Pardon me. I'm surprised that that's the first burp of the podcast, by the way. The paper quality looks amazing. It's kind of like trade paper.
Yeah, like it's a lot better. Like
it's a lot better because it was that glossy stuff previously.
And I do like the glossy stuff. To be fair, I do like the glossy stuff as well.
Yeah,
but that's
feels a bit. It feels magazine-y and kind of cheap, even though it's probably not cheap.
Because you know how like I feel like DC always used the same printers. Like the papers always. Whereas Marvel comics have always had like some comics come on different paper.
Yeah.
Like some Marvel comics are shiny, some are more shiny, and then you get like really sort of like papery Marvel ones.
I can't speak for SJW, Social Justice Warrior Marvel, just saying that for the algorithm. Really, like algorithm, are you listening in? This is terrifying. But the paper quality, like it makes it look kind of like 70s kind of.
Yeah, it's
like that's what I'm
70s
feeling.
And 80s, but weird comics culture thing. When did comics entirely get rid of the white border around the pages? What do you think was the last comic to ever do that?
Oh, there's probably one still doing it. There's one split out there.
I know, but like mainstream superhero comics have almost wholesale got rid of it.
I don't know. Also, Michael, and if anyone adjacent to Michael is listening, I'm looking at an ad for Supergirl in this comic, and it's like our war barbarian Supergirl. Remember when she rode that dragon? It's that Supergirl. You should get into reading comics again, man. That's my plea to Michael to start reading comics. How weirded out are you by Brian Michael Bendis writing Superman?
A little bit weirded out.
I'm concerned for him. Like I don't know if he's well. I don't know what drove him. Are we looking at Susan
He's
Boyle?
not lying. He's
Susan
not
Boyle
lying.
bought a Wren kitchen.
That is Susan Boyle.
That's great. I don't. I'm a wee bit concerned for Susan Boyle. Like, why is that so funny? I
should
read.
call it a night.
We should call it a night, but before we do, this is the point I want to get out. I read one of Bendis's Supermans because you know how he's on
Yeah.
every Superman.
Did he have anything like unique to add to? Or was
Well,
it just
you know how Brian
regular
Michael
ass
Bendis,
Superman?
and I'm going to keep on my own Brian Michael Bendis. Bendis has that style where he does street level stuff.
Yes.
And it's like journalists and investigative detectives, and then just Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much that. And
What Daily Planet?
there was a Daily Planet, and the Daily Planet's like viewers or like readers. Readers were flagging, and there was like a new millennial reporter that was given Clark Kent guff because like the plot is, you know how like Superman in this is the pre-New 52 Superman,
Yeah.
and you know how he had his Lois and he had his son.
Yeah.
They're not in this because like I don't think Bendis wants to write them, so they're off in space somewhere, and it feels really skeezy. But like this new social media,
Canon, who cares?
I know, but this social media young millennial reporter journo was given Clark Kent guff because like, oh, Lois Lane left you, didn't she? She left you for Superman, and like Clark Kent was like, I'm not going to talk to you because you're horrible. Like, but like that was like the tone. It was like very much like we're going to do that, like the young people in like media. And then the other thing that was happening was there was fires happening in Metropolis, and
That sounds
Superman
like a
was dealing with
low-level
that.
thing, but
Yeah,
yeah,
like and like I like that, and I know that's Bendis' thing, but I was a wee bit disappointed. But then I noticed that he was on every other Superman book, and then like I had a wee flip through this, and the tone of this
It's cosmic.
is cosmic, and it looks exactly my kind of thing.
Good.
And then we saw the paper quality,
And
and I was like,
that set it to so.
So
We'll let you know what we think of
yeah,
it.
next time we do a podcast, maybe next Saturday.
Maybe
Should
we'll
we do
see.
it every
Yeah,
Saturday?
Possibly. We can have
We
like a
shouldn't
weekend.
lock ourselves into things because then we
No,
won't do it,
won't do
and then
And the algorithm will punish us.
the algorithm will punish us. I hope you call in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to say thanks for having me, but like that's
Thanks
the
for
thing that
having me.
It's been great. It's been fun. We had the best listenership
We've ever had
of our tenure.
90-minute podcast. That's
Nin-
what you want.
Good night, lads. Pleasure hanging with you. Good
Oh,
night,
Thank
Andy.
you.
Bye. Good night, David, as well. Right, now.